This is a prologue. A bit of life from elsewhere in the world of Urus. Our players are central to our story, but they're not the only people in this world. They move through it the same as anyone else. Their currents have ripples, and they are in turn affected by the waves that others make as they move through the world. So, come with me northward. Winter can be long in the northern reaches of the Aranth Dales. It's dreaded as much as it's longed for. It's the season of cold and starvation, of long nights and howling winds. It's also the season of community. Thick blankets and shared food, rest. Most importantly, perhaps, story. Beatrice tends the fire in the great hearth of the common hall. It's the home of land disputes and lawful judgment, which she has for decades overseen, is now awash with a more pleasant atmosphere. Rugs have been brought out from storage to cover the cold stone tiles. Lights from flickering oil lamps brought from everyone's homes dance over myriad patchwork blankets distributed by restless, bright-eyed children. Kazzra has even brought a batch of her famous meat pies. The aroma of spices, herbs, and the savory warmth of butter, pastry, and gravy perfume the air alongside cider and ale. Mugs of hot milk with cinnamon and nutmeg are passed around for the children, and Beatrice resolves himself not to worry about what might be spilled and dropped in the excitement of such a special evening. After all, Storyweaver is here. And that is a rare treat indeed for this small hamlet. He nearly said no. Of course he did. Storytellers these days are largely part of the Aostrian communion, the faithful sent out to the distant reaches of the world to spread that faith's teachings. Beatrice has no real issue with the religion itself. People are free to believe as they wish in his mind. But where the communion spreads, so follows the shining empire, and soon all is swallowed under their vast and reaching hand. There's little room in the hearts of the Empire for the old things, so he has heard. The spirits of the forest, the dancing dale's wind carrying prayers from the smoking offerings to the old and forgotten gods, or the simpler ways of life so cherished among his own people. The Empire strives for greatness, and so too must its citizens. Or perhaps he's merely an old man, and his fears of change are a reaction to the sights in his own mirror of graying hair and fading green skin, of tusks no longer sharp and gleaming but dull, old and yellowed, by many an evening enjoying a pipe by the fire, rather than engaging in the pursuits of a younger man. The children are excited, so too the town, and thus, of course he is glad he said yes to the visit. He drowses by the fire now, half listening to the tales of the Ascension Wars. His mind drifts to the days of his own childhood, listening on similar nights to stories of great spirits and greater gods, of poems and songs recovered from decaying ruins and spun into grand stories. A part of him wonders if the tale of the prophet is any less spun and polished. But he keeps that part silent, as always. His attention returns at a moment of great sadness. The moment Eos Tereth, prophet of the shining star, lies broken and dying in the arms of his lover, the great Darius Alamanth, first of the shining emperors. Easy, is it not? For everything to shine when you have all the gold. Still, it is a great love story, and there is little Beatrice loves more than the grand story of... Still, it is a great love story. And there is little Beatrice loves more than a grand story of great and tragic love. His own eyes sting with tears as the Storyweaver masterfully weaves the emotions between the two men parted for so long, until the soul of Darius is given once more to the heavens to reunite with his lost love in the Hall of the Stars. Beatrice could be forgiven for missing the end of the story. The cleaning up of the hall, and the departure of the town. He is loved and he has lost, and most folk here know that story well enough to leave him be, there in the rocking chair by the fire, with pipe smoke swirling around his gray hair and glistening eyes. A small voice speaking in hushed whispers brings him out of his reverie. It is a voice not heard very often anymore, not since last spring's great fire. Essa Vaneth, the quiet little orphan human who lives above the bakery now, with Kazzra and the rest of her Tabaxi family. She speaks little, which is understandable in one who has lost so much. Yet she speaks now to the Storyweaver. "What happened?" she asks. "To Aether Garen?" "The Great Polaran General," Beatrice recalls. "The commoner dragonborn from the Reach, remembered only by his wartime moniker, and great brother-in-arms and unlikely friend to the high-born noble Darius Alamonth." The Storyweaver cocks her head, pointed elven ears emerging from a cloud of dark curls, firelight glinting off her brown skin in a way that reminds Beatrice of the sun-baked earth of summer. "His fate is unknown, dear child," she speaks softly. "Some say he went back to the Reach. Others say he helped the Emperor Darius form his first code of laws. Most believe he perished in the battle at the chasm." "Could he still be alive?" "No, sweet one. That all happened 500 years ago, and not even elves are so long-lived anymore. Why do you ask?" Essa is quiet for a long moment, her eyes studying the pattern of shadows on the rug beneath her feet. "I pray," she says, almost too low for Beatrice to hear. The Storyweaver leans forward. "That is a good thing." "I hear things when I pray, and see things." The Storyweaver brushes Essa's dark hair back from her forehead. It does not surprise Beatrice that the child would be hallucinating or having nightmares. He resolves to speak to Kazzra about it. "What do you hear and see?" asks the Storyweaver. "Darkness. Shadows. Great black wings. A bloody dragonborn in armor." Essa closes her eyes, and her face screws up with the kind of pain and fear no child should ever know. "And I hear a dragon's roar. And so much..." Beatrice finds himself exchanging a look with this Storyweaver, finding an unexpected moment of shared experience with this person so generally opposite his own life and worldview. The instinctive concern shared among all those who have ever had to care for young. Bewilderment and the desire to help. "So much what, child?" she asks. "Screaming. So much screaming."